Hi guys, good morning and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Mandy and you can find me on the internet as Mandy Von Knits, both on Ravelry and Instagram. I am a 39-year-old woman from southeastern Michigan and I live here with my husband and my 2 kiddos. I have been knitting for about 9 to 10 years and crocheting for about 13 to 14. And my favorite thing as of right now to do is make sweaters or cardigans or pretty much any garment. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, please stick around. I would really appreciate it. I have quite a bit to talk to you about this week. I have been working on hats. I have been working on all of my other sweater or cardigan works in progress. And my brain has just been scattered throughout the projects. I also have found some different patterns that I wanted to show you. I know that one of the yarn vendors that I follow has had a significant pattern release, I want to say, on their website. And I looked and it seemed like all of their patterns were free. So I wanted to show you one and then link to the rest of them. I think that's pretty much it. It seems like a lot. We'll get to it, I promise. But first, I'm going to talk about admin. So for this podcast, I give away a free pattern prize every week. So in order to enter for the pattern prize, all you have to do is leave a comment down below. And then next week when I draw for the pattern prize, if I pick your name, you just need to send me a message either on Instagram or Ravelry, and I'm Mandy Von Knits there, and let me know what pattern that you pick and I will send it to you. The only rules are that you can only win once a month, just so that it's fair for everybody. And the pattern price has to be 15 USD or under. So, I mean, they're pretty simple rules, but I'm just trying to do it to make it fair for everybody. Sometimes random comment pickers can pick the same person like 2 weeks in a row, and then everybody else gets kind of bummed. So, I mean, they're pretty simple rules, so okay. Anyways, I've babbled on enough about it. I'm sure that you guys understand. So I will leave a blank spot right here. And then that will be where I put the winner of last week's giveaway. So if that was you, and I have no idea who it is because I won't draw it until later, if that was you, please reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits. So I wanted to mention one more thing because I keep forgetting to say it. So I record this podcast on Sunday morning. I don't plan to air it until Tuesday, and they always come out Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern. So if you're going to leave a comment in order to be considered for the giveaway, leave it before Sunday morning-ish. So when I'm editing, it's usually Sunday noon Eastern time. So just leave it before then. That way you'll make sure to be entered. That's all I wanted to say. Seemed like a lot of words for that, but bear with me, it's morning. Okay, so last week I talked about how I had volunteered to knit some hats to raise money for my kiddos, one of my kiddos' classes. So I did, and I actually have this one, and this is the one that I started last week, and And I'm going to tell you about the pattern in 1 second. I just wanted to kind of separate it. This is called Odd Stripes by Locatelli. And I really love the pattern. And it's very simple. And I think that's the reason I like it so much. So this is the one I did for last week. And I'm going to bring this one back up because I also have it. So I basically have a pair of 2 right now. So the thing about Odd Stripes is that the actual pattern is written in worsted weight. Now, what I'm doing to make these hats is I am using DK. This is Scrumptious by Scheepjes. This is DK weight acrylic and polyester. I believe when I was looking it up last week, it is polyester and acrylic, and it's made from recycled plastic bottles. I am going to put down exactly what it is down below because obviously me not being sure isn't really helping you. But I really like the way that this yarn feels, and I've liked working with it, and I'm very happy that I got a big color pack that was meant for one of their blanket one of Scheepjes blanket make-alongs, knit-alongs, crochet-alongs, one of them. But I ended up getting it on a really good sale from, I believe, Jimmy Bean's Wool. And now I have a bunch of different color packs. Colors of Scheepjes in Scrumptious. So, and I really think these hats are cute. In order to work with the DK weight acrylic, I did cast on. I believe I took the medium size and cast on a handful more stitches. What I did in order to figure out, okay, how many stitches should I cast on for DK? Because obviously the worsted isn't going to carry over to DK unless the hat gets a lot smaller. So I believe I opened up the Tin Can Knits app, and I love Tin Can Knits patterns. If you've never tried one of their patterns, I will talk about them more later because I'm actually working on one right now. But if you've never tried their patterns, definitely do it. I opened up their app because they have an app, and I went and started a project for Barley, which is their free hat. It's, I believe, the Simple Collection. So I saw how many stitches I needed to cast on for a Barley for, I believe, an adult small. So I took that number and I cast that number on, and I just knit this hat with it instead. Like I've said, Tin Can Knits has amazing patterns. If you ever have questions about a good number of cast-ons for this weight, or a good number of stitches to cast on for this weight of yarn, I would definitely check out one of their patterns. Besides that, I would definitely check out one of their patterns for just in general. Okay, I did not say who made this hat, who was the designer on this hat. This is a Locatelli pattern, and it is just a very basic hat, but it's one that I keep going back to. And I don't know why, but I think I just like the way that the stripes don't match up, and it's just very asymmetrical. So it is what it is. I really like the hat. I used I used dark gray, dark green, and light green. So the original pattern actually only uses 2 different stripe colors. 2 different colors. I'm using 3. I can't count. But the reason that I did that was because the color the color balls that I had are only 30 grams, and I was worried about what would happen if I ran out of yarn. So I've actually cast on another one already, and it's going to be another odd stripes because that's just what I'm feeling like this week. Oops. And I basically just have the ribbing and a couple of color stripes. So for this one, I've decided, since I have a dark green and a light green and a dark blue and a light blue, I have decided for this one I am going light blue and dark green because why not? And as you can see, it's just a baby hat for right now. But I am hoping that I can keep a pace of maybe a hat a week, just so that by whenever they need the hats, I'll have a couple more to add to the hats that I've already slated to give away. But, you know, I forgot all about mentioning what I was wearing, so I'm going to do that first before I show you the project that I'm super excited to show you. So this is the Timeless Henley, and this is a pattern by Locatelli, and I knit this not last year but the year before for the Locatelli knit along. She does a huge fall knit along. It is currently going on. Generally sign-ups are in August, and then you work through it for generally, sorry, the cat meowed in the background and I'm like, what? Okay, generally you sign up in August and it starts in September and then it goes to, I believe, the end of November. But anyways, I knit this out of Miss Babs' Katahdin, which is BFL, but I'll make sure to put it down below. And the reason that I really like the Katahdin is that it comes in huge hanks, and you can actually have Miss Babs wind them. So that's another bonus. And the hanks are, they're probably over 1,000 yards, but I'm definitely putting down exactly what they are below. I do like it, and the BFL is pretty soft and it doesn't itch or bother me at all. The Henley, like, what do I want to say? The shape of the Henley is one that I really do like, and I really wish that I would sit down and maybe find a couple more different Henley patterns and make them. But for now I just have this one, and if my current knitting is anything like, if my future knitting is anything like my current knitting, I might not have time to knit another Henley until like the year 3000. So we'll see how it goes. So anyways, this is what I've been wanting to show you guys, because I actually took some time and blocked this week because I didn't, well, so this is the Voyage by Woolen Pine, and it is an all over color, not all over, it is, the body is all color work and then the arms are plain. So it is color work all up the body, and you work in the round and eventually you steek. But the directions on the body say that you are to knit a certain number of inches and then you start shaping for the arms and everything else. So I blocked it because I didn't know how much height I would gain from blocking, and the answer is nothing. So I am actually right now at the point where I can start working on all of the increases and the decreases and all the arm stuff. So what happens is that you knit however many inches this is, and then you're going to add some steeking stitches for the arms and the arm sides, and eventually you are going to start right in the middle where I have the steek stitches. You are going to start working the V-neck for the decreases for the V-neck. So I'm very excited about it, but I stopped right when I got to the 14 inches because I was also very excited to work on another thing, and I'll show that to you in a little bit. But I really love how this is coming out, and this is just a bunch of different minis, and I especially like right up here. It is neon green and white, and then there's like a neon blue and then a dark blue, and I think that would be a lot of fun in just a sweater in those colors. But I think my favorite part about knitting this is, all in all, one different color choice that you pick doesn't have much effect. It's more of like an all over effect. Like all of the colors come together to work. So if you don't like one of them, it's not a big deal. You'll never really even notice it. It's more of like the all over effect that the garment gives. But I have never steeked before, and I have never done anything that involves shaping the way this is. So the next week is definitely going to be very interesting. I may have to read through the instructions once or twice just to make sure I understand what's going on. But I was looking at it yesterday and it seems pretty straightforward. I'm going to be casting off stitches and then casting them on for the armhole stitches, and then I'll start working the shaping for the neckline. But it is definitely eclectic like I had wanted. So I love all of the colors. They make me so happy. It's definitely a happy garment. I've been having so much fun making this that I really want to make another one. But we're gonna try to get through this one first. And like I had said last week, I'm planning on taking the Seaglass colorwork pattern, the 1x1 colorwork, and kind of doing it with the Voyage body because it's steeked, and the Seaglass cardigan, which is one that I would really like, is not steeked. And I would be very worried about trying to hide all of those ends. And I know that I won't do it. So I feel like if I'm ever going to get a Seaglass cardigan, it's going to have to be this way. So, okay guys, let me show you the sweater that I've had the least amount of progress on. This is a Christmas sweater that I've been knitting for my son. And this is the Flax sock. Yes, I believe that's what they've started to call it. But I've been using the Tin Can Knits app, and all you have to do for the Tin Can Knits app is basically pick the pattern that you want to use. They have a bunch of different free patterns there, and then you can pick the size and the yarn weight. If the sweater allows for, or the pattern that you're using allows for different yarn weights, you're allowed to customize the yarn weight, and then it will give you a basically customized pattern, so you don't have to print the pattern out and circle the numbers for the sizes that you're using. So this is the Flax. light, like I said, and I am knitting this using a gradient from Mousewitch yarns. It's called Stormy Skies, and it starts from light, like a light bluish gray, and gets darker and darker down below. So I am going to crinkle, well, not yet, but this is the color that I have just added. And this will be the next color. And as you can see, they get darker, and I'm sorry, it'll be crinkly for a second. And you can kind of see how dark it gets. Let me see, do I have a tag? Yes. Oh, I should show you guys those. It is Mousewitch yarns. And Stormy Skies. Okay. This is the one that I've been knitting on when I need easy knitting. So the flax, once you split for sleeves, is, I mean, it's basically just round and round, right? So I've been keeping this kind of in my pocket for whenever I can't concentrate on like color work or trying to do the increases on the next project. So, okay, no more crinkling. I want to show you guys these because I just pulled them out of my yarn bag. They are so cute. They are Bertie Parker stitch markers, and they're just little hearts. Like little candy conversation hearts from Valentine's Day. Okay. This is the project that has by far given me the most trouble. Yes. Yes, it has. And I wonder if I have a picture to show you. If not, I'm putting one up. So, here we go. The Stripy Unicorn. This is a pattern by Locatelli, and I really do like the pattern and the way that it looks, but here's the thing, and it's a big thing. So I don't know if you guys can see, but there are these increased lines down the yoke. Now those are all over the yoke, and the increases are randomly done. So what did I do here? Let me keep that. I have all the papers, let me tell you, because my last podcast, after I started thinking about it, I believe it was Sunday night, and I was so frustrated about how it was coming out that I basically sat down on Monday and I charted everything. And by charted, I don't mean I made a knitting chart. I mean, I literally wrote down a table of how these decreases are supposed to go. And then I drew a picture of how the increases are supposed to look. And then I ripped out, well, I didn't rip it out. I'll show you what happened. Okay, so this and this. So, oops, I have a pencil stuck to it. There we go. So this was the one that I showed you last week. And I was not happy with this. So you can't really see, but first of all, I started, and I'm using a bunch of different pinks, And I started off with really light and I kept the really light going, and that was okay. But combined with all of the other issues that I had with the increases, I was just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to completely put this one off to the side because I don't like how it's coming out. And I didn't like how it was coming out. So that's where we were with that. And then I went and I cast this on. And this is also on another little bitty cord. But I am much farther, and you can tell a little bit better that the increases are there. You can obviously tell the increases are there better, but because the cord is so small, it's a little bit harder to see. I am up to the point where I just have basically the body increases left. I've passed the part where you're increasing the sleeves and the body at the same time. And I'm actually going to show you guys the chart that I've made. Okay, so this is what I did. I went through the whole pattern, and this is not going to mean anything to you. Even if you like caught the whole chart, you're not going to understand it without the actual pattern. But this is basically what I did. I had to put in each row up top, and then what increase I was doing for what spot. And then I had to do that 3 times. And now I am on this, the raglan? No, they're not just raglan, they're the body. So now each body has increases. And it has been quite the adventure. And I wish I could show you. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is actually what I'm talking about. This is the yoke of the sweater, and you can see in the middle are the raglan lines. So those dark lines are where the raglan markers are, and in between those raglan markers there are other markers, and each marker on this sweater has increases at random times. So that is why I have the chart, because otherwise I was messing it all up. And it's a lot. There's a lot going on with that pattern, and I am super happy, very, very happy that I basically decided to redo the whole thing, which doesn't sound good. I mean, obviously it doesn't sound good. You never want to rip something out and redo it, but if I'm not going to like how it's coming out, why keep it, right? But I do like how it's coming out now. And I'm about ready to get to darker pinks. So hopefully by next week you guys will see it on different size needles. The flax too, because I need to take that off and get it on bigger needles. I'm putting this yarn in through the needles just like this because this is the next color I need to use, and I don't want to lose track of it. Unlike with the flax, which is a gradient, the yarns that I am using are just a bunch of different pinks. So I'm just grabbing the one that looks like it comes next. But I've noticed that with this advent, and it was an all pink advent by Suburban Stitcher, I believe, that I got last year. I've noticed that there are a lot of colors that are the same because, I mean, there's only so many pinks. that's kind of what I've been doing lately, is going through all the different pinks that I have and seeing what one will look good next. But honestly, a lot of them are the same color, so I don't know how that's going to end up. Worst comes to worst, it will be fine if it all just looks like this. So I'm fine with that. But it will be interesting because I'm planning on using those pinks for the Seaglass cardigan after I'm done with the Voyage. So we'll have to see how that comes out. But that would be all of the knitting progress that I've made this week. It seems like a lot and not a lot all at the same time. So I don't know how that's possible. But anyways, I am going to show you a couple of interesting patterns that I've ran across. And one you guys might not even be able to do because I found it and it's adorable. But it is only in German, I believe. So, but if you can read German knitting patterns, you're so lucky because this is so cute. Anyways, so if you guys haven't seen my previous videos, I've made the Outcrop by Rachel Illsley, and she came out with a new pattern that's not color work, and it's very pretty. It's called Low Tide, and it is just lace. And I thought that that would just be fun to make, especially with all of the lace that I've been thinking about lately. It says, Low Tide is a textured garment featuring combinations of eyelet lace and cables. The textured design is inspired by the ripples of sand, tiny rivulets of water, and scattering of pebbles and shells left on the beach by a recessing tide. So if you look at her colorwork patterns, they are often inspired by like architecture or different geometric patterns in nature. So it sounds like this is also one that is like that. But I did like making the Outcrop. I have a couple of more colorwork patterns from her that I haven't thought about making yet because I just have a list of a list of like this for all of the things that I want to knit. But I would definitely recommend checking her out if you like. If some of her patterns are like all over color work, so I would consider those a little bit more advanced. Some just have the yoke, which are more beginner friendly, I feel. And she has different accessories as well. So if you're interested in any color work, I would check her out. She has really cool patterns. Okay, actually, let me show you guys this one last. No, paper, come on. Okay, I'll show that one last. This is what I was talking about when I wanted to show you the German pattern. Look at the cats. Aren't those socks amazing? Okay, so it says the languages for this is German, but I saw this while browsing through Ravelry, and I used Google Translate to translate the page because obviously I can't read German, unfortunately. And Google Translate basically said that the pattern is available in Andrea Hoedt-Konken's book, and she's the designer, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but you can see how to spell it right there, and I'm putting it down below. But it says that the pattern is available in her book. It contains 18 knitting instructions for multicolored Fair Isle knitting. And it has an illustrated knitting course with all the necessary techniques. And motifs are included as easy to read knitting charts. but I fell in love with the sacks. Those are so nice. I am not a big sock knitter. I think I've made maybe 1 or 2 pairs of socks. So I feel like colorwork socks would probably be a huge jump for me. Like, I feel like I should probably knit some more plain socks before I start just pulling out the colorwork, because colorwork can be difficult, right? And with a little tiny circumference of a sock, I can't even imagine. Okay, so this is the free knitting patterns that I was talking about. So I receive Hobie Yarns email newsletters. They said that JoJoKnitwear had released a Bare Naturals collection, or Basic Naturals. I'll put it down below. And I looked, and she has quite a bit of them, but I liked this one the most. This is called the Barley Field Sweater, and it is just a lace sweater. And I say just a lace sweater not to be disparaging, but it is a lace sweater. It is a beautiful lace sweater. What's the skill level? Let me see. It says, oh, the yarns you use held together is worsted, so it uses a lace plus a bulky. The sizes available are size small through 3XL. You use quite a bit of yardage because you're holding 2 yarns together. But technically, you could just use bulky yarn. Oh, this is interesting. So this uses skeins of Davina. And I love Davina. I can't reach it. If you go to my Ravelry page, I made a sweater. It's not a sweater, it's a cardigan from Davina. And it is amazing. It is the softest thing I think I've ever felt. And it's the Let It Go sweater cardigan. It's the Let It Go cardigan. It's too early today. I'm sorry, guys. It's the Let It Go cardigan from Locatelli. And I really enjoyed working with the yarn. And it looks like this is the yarn that they use there. So that's incredible. It was like a chainette tube. So it'll be interesting to see how that works up in lace. You know what's funny? And I don't need more yarn, but I was really thinking that I would love to make another sweater out of that yarn. And it says the yarn that it holds with, that Davina is held with, is the soft alpaca lace. Wow. It was fun to work with. I would definitely recommend it. But I am going to put up a link to the collection that was just released by JoJoKnitwear in combination with Hobie, because I believe at least most of the patterns that I looked at were free and they were all very pretty. They have a cardigan to go along with the Barley Field sweater, and then a couple of other wearables, and I think possibly a wrap. So it's definitely worth at least checking out if you're somewhat interested in it. So one of the patterns that I have to show you is the Kip sweater by Rebecca Clow. This is knit in sport weight yarn, and it is an all over textured pattern that it's using slip stitch, but it looks like herringbone. And I have been a huge fan, a very huge fan of different like all over textured pattern sweaters. So when I saw this, I was really excited about it. It says that the gauge is 22 stitches by 44 rows, and that's 4 inches in the slip stitch pattern. The yardage is between 904 and 1931 yards. It uses sport weight yarn, and it was published this month, so that's awesome. And it says sizes are between 98 centimeters and 185.5 centimeters, or 38.75 to 73 inches. So I wanted to mention this one because a lot of you guys have mentioned Rebecca Clow patterns in the comments. So what would be your favorite one that you've heard of from her? I know that the Tolsta tee is definitely a very popular one. I haven't made the Tolsta, but I've heard great things about it. And she also has the Tolsta tanks, and there's one that I really want to make called the Koran cardigan, and I actually already have the yarn for that. So it's literally just waiting for me to cast it on and knit. So the pattern for this basically says, Kip is a drop shoulder sweater worked in a slip stitch pattern which gives the look of herringbone fabric. The back is shaped first and the fronts are picked up and joined. Then the body is worked in the round. Sleeves are picked up and shaped. The cuffs, hem, and collar are finished with a 1x1 rib. So it's top down, drop sleeved, slipped stitches. Okay, I think that's all of the knitting and crochet content that I have for you today. I don't have anything to talk about for life stuff, mainly because as soon as I'm done recording this, we're going, like for the rest of the day. This whole weekend, I have been waiting so patiently for work to start back up because it's gonna be a lot quieter. Does that sound weird? Like, both my husband and I work full-time, and the weekends are like the only times that we can get a lot of stuff done. So whenever the weekends come, it's like rush. So when work gets back in, it calms down kind of. There's less extracurricular activities and doing a bunch of stuff that needs to be done. So I'm sure that you guys understand. It is what it is. Anyways, I hope that you guys are going to have an amazing week. And don't forget to comment down below if you are interested in winning the pattern for next week's giveaway. And if you won for this week, just reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Make sure you let me know what pattern that you want, and I will go ahead and gift it to you. If you don't use Ravelry, let me know that too, and hopefully we can find a different solution that will work for you. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.